Yeah, I think we are live.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will just check into the group. Did you get notification or something?
No, I didn't get a notification. I keep refreshing the screen until I see that damn thing.
Yeah, yeah. So we are live. I'm able to see.
Now I can see it.
Hello, friends. Very good afternoon. If you guys are able to see us, please put hi into the comment section. Please write into the comment section. And okay, live. Good afternoon. If you Let me mute. Yeah, Raghav is saying hi and Akla is saying live. So, sir, we'll wait for 1 minute.
Yeah, we still got a minute. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, not an issue.
yeah, it's just 3:59. So we'll wait for 1 more minute. And in the meanwhile, I will again write into the group that we are live so that some people can see that.
Okay, so there's a little thing that says get notified when Anamitra goes live next. I think
Yeah,
I need to switch that on, make it on.
yes, that. And it is requested to everyone. You can make this notification on, then everyone can get the live information. Yeah. So that's it. So we'll just wait for a few more seconds.
I'm cool. Whenever you're ready to give me the go ahead, I'll start.
Okay. So, sir, I think 10 people has already joined. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Good to go.
we can start. We can start.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen, fellas. Just give me a second. My entire screen.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, guys, if you share this live, our Facebook live to your timeline and other group, it will be very helpful for those who wants to learn digital marketing. Rishi is also online. Good afternoon, Rishi. Rayul, hello. Deep is also here. Okay. So we got almost 10 to 11 people.
Okay, I'm ready to kick off. Shall I take it away, Anamitra, or do you want to?
Yeah, it's four, not one, so we can start. I'm able to see your presentation
screen. Cool. So thanks again for joining in. It's a beautiful day in Bombay. It's not so very hot. It's pretty pleasant, and I've actually got my air conditioner on, and I'm sitting very, very comfortably. I'm going to be looking at writing email sequences that sell. I do believe that emails can actually bring in quite a lot of money into your bank account, but they are not written too well. And if we can fix that, then life will be a whole lot easier for us. So let's get into my presentation. I'm kicking off by talking about what's an email sequence.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. You want to tell people that what they will get if they attend the webinar.
Right. I'm giving away 2 documents that I created. As a digital marketer, I've written a process on how I create my own email sequences. When I finish this, since I've already started my presentation, when I finish the presentation, I will show you all both the documents. And we're giving it away to people who've taken the intense trouble to come and join this Facebook Live. So there are 2 books. One is a workbook, which is going to help you write your emails. And one is a PDF document that explains how I create my sequences. So an email sequence is actually a set of emails, multiple emails, which are sent automatically to a mailing list. The sequence of emails can be dispatched based on some trigger or a specific time. So let's take a look at what kind of triggers we are looking at or what kind of timings we are looking at. Site visitor actioned triggered emails will be their browsing behavior, what they clicked on, which button they clicked on, which page they navigated to. So based on that, you can have emails triggered to them, sent to them. You can have mails sent to them if they subscribed to your list. They clicked on a button, gave you their name and email ID, and you sent them a welcome email. If they've abandoned a shopping cart, you can send them an email. If they are reading or they are downloading some of your ebooks or your white papers or your checklists or your case studies, you could then have an email triggered. If they buy a product from you, you could have an email triggered. Now, time-based emails. Right after people opt in, right after people subscribe to your list, that becomes a time-based email. So immediately after they opt in to subscribe, become registrants, you can send a welcome email, and that welcome email will contain a lot of very, very helpful, valuable information to them. 30 days after they make a purchase, this is again a time-based email. On their subscription anniversary, let's say that someone subscribed on the 1st of April, 2020. On the 1st of April, 2021, you could send out it's really nice of you to be with us for a year, blah, 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 this kind of emails. So email sequences are basically triggered using some kind of action that your site visitor does, or some time-based, something that happens based on a time. Now, once you set up your email sequences, they simply work for you. That's the wonderful thing about email sequences. Very rarely do you go back and tweak. Now, let's move forward and see how this shapes up. I normally have an 8 email sequence. So now I'm going to talk very briefly about how these email sequences are sent out. The first email that I send out, whether it's in response to, let's say, something of site visitor does or some time-based thing, whatever, my first email is usually an introductory email. And in my introductory email, I ensure that I deliver on the promises I made in my lead magnet. My lead magnet will be, let's say, an ebook or a white paper or a case study or a video or a how-to type tutorial that somebody will download for free and share their name and email ID, with me. Now, on that page, I make promises. I say, I'll give you this free, I'll give you that free, I'll give you access to so many ebooks free. So the first introductory email, I deliver on my promises. I give them, let's say, a login ID password to come and join, to come to a special page on my website where they got access to about 25 different ebooks for free. So whatever my promises are, I make them good in my introductory email. I do not sell anything. So the first introductory email in the email sequence sells nothing. Now, the second email that I send out maybe a day or two later adds pure value to my registrant. I provide measurable value. The email will be chock full of tips, advice, how to type tutorials, links to case studies, links to ebooks. It's a pure value add email. I do not sell anything. In the third email, the block of my content, the third email content, I talk about the resistance that people have to buy my product or service, and I give them good reasons to overcome their objections. I talk about a 30-day money-back guarantee. I talk about the availability of a whole load of helper videos. If you buy this product and you don't know how to use it, I have 12 helper videos that will allow you to use this product really well. I talk about a help desk I have where buyers can get help. You can open a ticket, ask your question, ask your problem, and somebody will give you an intelligent reply. So in this email, I send out several objections. I write 2 or 3 small paragraphs in very friendly conversational language, and I try and deal with objections that people have to buy. I do not sell anything. In my fourth email, after adding all this value to my recipients, I announce my offer. Now, when I announce my offer, I just provide enough details about what I'm selling to get my reader really curious. So I don't provide a whole load of boring information in an email. A little bit of email, a little bit of content that tells the buyer exactly what value they'll get, and I get them curious. And I try and push them to click through my sales or landing page. I am definitely selling in email 4. I'm basically announcing my offer. So it's still not a hard sell. It's still a little bit of a laid back sort of sell. Now in email 5, I provide social proof. In social proof, I offer testimonials from customers. Now, what I have done is I've very carefully segmented my email list. So I know what email IDs are associated with people between 28 and 35 and what their wants and needs are. I know what email IDs are associated with people between 35 and 45 and what their wants and needs are. So I very carefully, over a period of time, segmented my email list, and I offer testimonials from customers that fit a specific segment. That means if you're between 28 and 35, you will see people giving testimonials that look between 28 and 35. The language they'll use is between 28 and 35. And I found that video testimonials work best. You do not need 12 video testimonials. You need only about 1 or 2. But the people in your video testimonial must resonate with the customers in your segment. I am definitely selling, but it's soft selling. It's not a hard push. It's just that, look, why don't you look at this product or service? Here are a couple of people who have bought it and are very happy with it. Please listen to their testimonials. And I send those testimonials out to the right email segment. In email 6, I offer a bonus. I offer a limited time valuable bonus to anybody who buys before a given deadline. I'm definitely selling here, but if you noticed, the pushing has become slightly harder. Because I'm offering a bonus that people will find very hard to refuse, the push or the sell has become stronger. So there are 3 emails where there are no sells at all. There are 2 emails where there is a soft sell. And in the 6th email, the sell becomes a little stronger. Now in the 7th email, I stack up bonuses. What I normally do is, when I create my email sequence, I decide on how many bonuses I'm going to give. It's usually 2 or 3 bonuses that I give, not more than that. In email 6, I will talk only about 1 bonus. In email 7, I will stack up bonuses. This is the second last email in the sequence. So I've got to make it a no-brainer decision to buy. I need potential customers feeling that they're getting a terrific deal, which is a ton of value for the price they are paying. So I stack up maximum 2 extra bonuses. Now here, if you notice, I am selling and the selling has become stronger. Now, the 8th email is my last call to action. I always send out a last call to action because I found that this is the email that brings me the most sales. buyers don't want to miss out on the limited time bonuses explained in email 7. Now, a lot of the buyers don't really read the first 4 or 5 or 6 emails. But when it comes to the last call to action, they'll sit and read. Now, this is an opportunity to catch subscribers who missed the previous emails. They missed the announcing of your one-time offers and your stacked bonuses. Here, you're definitely selling very, very strongly. So I normally have an 8 email sequence when I'm selling products or services. Now, you need not have an 8 email sequence. You can have a 3 email sequence. You send out a welcome, send out your social proof, and give your call to action. You can have a 5 email sequence. You send out your welcome, you send out social proof, you send out your first bonus, and you send out your last call to action. It really depends on how well you know your buying audience. But I tend to use a little bit of a laid out 8 email sequence, and it has worked pretty well for me. It brings me a reasonably steady income, which can help me pay my bills. Now let's enter into the sequencing email content creation bit. This is the sequence. Now, writing emails is basically an art form. For a very long time, mind you, I've been doing marketing for a heck of a long time. In no exaggeration, in excess of about 28, 30 odd years. So in the early days, I used to believe that unsubscribes were an inevitable part of email marketing, because whenever I used to send, let's say, the third email, people would blindly click the unsubscribe button. And I always thought that unsubscribes were inevitable. Then I dug in and I said, there must be a better way of doing this. I must find a way of sending out emails that are fascinating, where there will be unsubscribes. You can't keep unsubscribes to 0, but I can contain the number of unsubscribes. So I learned to understand my audience intimately. I used to call them in on a Skype one-on-one. I talked to them after they bought my product or service. I'd ask them what is the most difficult thing that they encountered. I'd ask them why they bought my service. I'd ask them what they liked about the bonuses. And gradually, over a period of time, this takes about 4 months, 6 months of hard work, I began to understand what they really wanted. I also learned that what their wants, needs, and pain was. It takes a little bit of time. Then I realized writing sequences which sell is a learnable art. I can use emails to sell successfully. And I can send emails without triggering huge unsubscribes. So it took me about 6 months, 8 months time to figure this out, but it all came from learning my audience intimately. If we are afraid to connect with other people, people that are buying our products, people that are encountering problems with our products, if we are afraid, whenever anybody came onto on a Skype call and said, Ivan, I didn't like this about your product, I never defended myself. I would get very curious and say, what was it that you didn't like? What happened to you? What exactly did you do, and how did it fail? I'd never say, no, you're doing something wrong. My product doesn't work like this. I never defended my product. And sometimes I realized that the customer was doing something wrong. Then I said, okay, I'll give you a 1 hour one-on-one session and I'll show you how to do it. And sometimes I discovered that my customer was absolutely correct. I tell them, I'm going to fix my product. I'm going to rewrite the code a little bit. And you will be the first to get an upgrade for absolutely free. So I kept my audience engaged with me. Now, I'm going to enter my email content creation process. This is what I actually do. I start by making a list of all the product or service attributes that I'm creating my email content from. I normally get this attribute list from the creator of the product or service for which I'm selling. Now let's look at a little example. Hathaway, which is normally a really good internet service provider, they sell their product by saying, join Hathaway because we give you a download speed of 50 Mbps. Now, 50 Mbps download speed is something that a lot of customers, ordinary customers, just don't understand. So when I was writing the email sequence, what I said was, join Hathaway and you will be able to watch your movies on Netflix and Amazon without any stuttering, juddering, or delays. I never spoke about 50 Mbps, but I wrote about content that my target audience would understand. Now, that is the technique that all copywriters use for changing attributes into buyer benefits. So once I've got all my attributes, I open a Word file, I type down all the product or service attributes, and then very patiently I start translating this into buyer benefits using conversational English. Once I have got all my product or service attributes in simple buyer, conversational English based buyer benefits, I'm ready to write the content of each email in my sequence. The introductory email, just the 1 to 8, which we had done earlier. Now I turn off all distractions. Now turning off all distractions means I genuinely put my mobile phone on silent. I actually put it in aircraft mode. I switch off. I actually disconnect from the internet. I take my laptop, disconnect. I usually use an RJ45 cable. I disconnect it. So no, I usually keep WhatsApp running on my laptop. So the moment I disconnect my internet, WhatsApp stops. On my laptop, it stops. So all distractions are turned off. And then I work hard on creating each email in the sequence in Microsoft Word. Now, I use a template. And that is the template that I'm giving away free to today's Facebook Live participants. I'm giving it to you in Word format. Now, the reason I'm giving it to you, my email template in Word format, is because you may want to use that template yourself. You might want to take the template, make a copy of the template, and then go and fill in the content. Now, if I gave you a PDF, you'd find it very difficult to use. You can actually edit PDFs, but not a lot of people do that. So the email template that I'm giving you, which consists of 10 pages, I'll show you the sample when we end. I'm giving it away to you in Word format. Now, I do not try to make each of my email content perfect. I just structure the email first. I know that after I've got all my 8 emails ready, I will go back and edit each email to improve my buy persuasion. So I use Microsoft Word to take care of all my spelling mistakes. I'm not very good with English spellings. I tend to make a lot of them, but with practice over the years, I make fewer and fewer. But I use Word to take care of my spelling mistakes. Once I have completely edited all my 8 emails, I use Grammarly. I have a premium account with Grammarly. I take my email content and one by one paste them into Grammarly. I use Grammarly to do a second grammar check. Grammarly's algorithm is a lot better than Microsoft Word's algorithm for checking English grammar. And I also do a spelling check. So this is the first level of getting my emails content to what I call production quality that the reader will immediately start responding to. After I have completed Grammarly, I will take all the content that I got from Grammarly and I will paste it one by one into Hemingway. Now I use Hemingway. Again, I use the desktop version. It cost me, I think, about $12. Lifetime payment. Because Hemingway tells me whether my English sentences can be understood by 8th graders. Now, you can tell Hemingway to critique your English. You can tell Hemingway, tell me whether my English can be understood by PhDs. You can tell Hemingway, please tell me whether my English sentences are focused on postgraduate, master's degree holders. You can tell Hemingway to criticize your English and say, is my English only for graduates and undergraduates? I like to write my emails such that they can be understood by eighth graders. These are the lowest on the grade. Now, Hemingway also criticizes the voice in your email content. Active voice, passive voice. If you got a lot of paragraphs in passive voice, Hemingway will highlight it. Hemingway will tell you what words you need to change to convert active voice to passive voice. Now, a lot of people make a mistake using THE, the, and the alphabet the alphabet A. These are what are called articles. They normally are the first word in sentences. Very many Indian copywriters and a fair percentage of Gora copywriters make mistakes in articles, in the use of articles. Hemingway criticizes that as well. Hemingway criticizes your adjectives. Hemingway tells you when to use adverbs, when you shouldn't use adverbs. Hemingway tells you what are the nouns that you're qualifying, gives you lots and lots of stuff in a very, very simple way, much, much more simply than Grammarly. And that's why I use Hemingway. Once I have got all of this done, I then sit down and very patiently analyze and optimize my buy persuasion in each of the emails which has a buy persuasion narrative. Remember, if you looked at my email sequence, there are about 3 emails where there is no buy persuasion at all. I am just adding tons of value to my recipients. Other than that, nothing. So now I sit down, I analyze and I optimize it. There are extra words, I delete them. If I'm using prepositions that are not right, I'll delete them. If my adjectives are too big, too many characters in my adjectives, I'll find other adjectives, to talk about my product and reduce that. I'll use it. I do all of this to make my buy persuasion more conversational, as though I'm sitting down with a friend and having a cup of coffee. And I do this for those email sequences where there is a buy persuasion. Now, remember, you're not selling across all emails in the sequence. Once I have completed all of this, my email sequence is ready to be loaded into an autoresponder. I use MailChimp. I've been using MailChimp for a very long time. I'm not saying it's the best. There are several new tools that have come out which are equally good, if not better. But I'm an old guy. I tend to stay with things that I am comfortable with. And that's the reason I'm still with MailChimp. I think it's a pretty good, it's a little bit more expensive than average, but I like it. Now, the autoresponder then dispatches all my emails on an appropriate day, date, and time to my mailing list. So there are 8 emails in my sequence. They go out one by one. And that is the kind of content creation process that I use. This brings me to the end of my little Facebook Live. I'm going to now exit from this and show you the 2 handouts. Just a sec. Now, I am now projecting my workbook, which I'm giving away free. This is how to write an awesome email sequence. You've got to ask yourself these sort of questions, and you've got to write your answers underneath here. This is where you kind of type in your answers. Now, these are the questions that I ask myself, and then I write the answers here. So I would suggest you take the workbook, make a copy. So one workbook is always blank. It's the original. And you make several copies and you use the copies and you fill this up, because you're not writing sequences for one single product or service. You'll be writing email sequences for multiple products, multiple services, especially if you're working for customers or clients. So these are the kind of these are the kind of stuff, that I'm giving away free. This is my workbook. It's, and this is my system. Writing an email sequence that sells. This is a book that I've written. It's a while back. I've never shared this with anybody. I write this sort of stuff when I learn, because I want to repeat what I'm doing again and again and get better at it. So I'm a very process oriented person. I like processes because they assure me that what I'm doing is right. So there's a whole lot of information here, and right at the very end, email 3, what happens, email 4, what happens, email 5, email 6, they all explained there in great detail. Now I've also explained my email content writing process. Now my email sequences, how they're written, all of this is given. So if you read this, Grammarly, Hemingway and stuff like that, you should really be smiling all the way to your bank. Believe me, your conversions will jump and your sales will jump. This brings me to the end of this. The floor now is open to asking. Questions. I'll stop sharing my screen. I think that's right? And if you have questions, please go ahead.
Yeah. First thing I wanted to tell you guys, if you want these workbook and ebook as sir has shown, you have to just message me on the messenger so you can get that. And we will give these freebies only those who are attending this live. So first question I'm displaying in the screen too. In email 3, it almost selling pitch. Customer will understand. Okay, you have the sequence, right? Email
That's
1.
right.
Yeah. So email 3, we are saying that we are not selling anything, but people are saying that it looked like that we are selling. If we can.
Okay, just a sec.
Yeah.
Overcoming objections. This looks like selling. It's a soft sell. The moment you see in email 3, you're not saying here is the product, this is the price, here is the link, go click on it, go to the sales page. You're not talking about anything like that. In email 3, you write it by saying, I am one of the people that take care of the people who buy from me. My first worry, my first deep concern is to make sure that people who buy from me have their money protected. And because of this, I have a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. I also give you a lot of help of videos. Here's a link to my help desk. You can go to the help desk and you can ask questions provided you bought the product from me. But I never give a link to my sales page. If you believe that it's selling something, well, yes, it is a soft sell. A very, very soft sell.
Yeah. Next question is from Akla. So some type of subject lines and sales pitch mails may go into the spam. Like if you're using discount offer, credit card, please tell your views.
Yes. Well, it's like this. You have got to work very hard at your subject lines. Like I said, it takes a little practice. It takes a little, I do a whole training program on how to write subject lines, how to write first paragraphs in email sequencing, So there's work that you need to do. I also talk about how in your introductory emails, first 1 or 2 emails, they'll all be text based. There'll be no images in them. There'll be no links in them. And you will personalize the email. So these are the little things. And in spite of doing all of this, some of your emails might go into spam. So what I normally do is I would also on a different, I send a special email to all newbie subscribers with a little video inside that says, if you are a Gmail subscriber, drag and drop my email into your from promotions or from spam, drag and drop it into your primary tab. So I send this email out regularly, once in 15 days, once a month. I send this email out to my mailing list. And in spite of all of that, there'll be a couple of times and it'll go into spam. There's very little that you can do about that.
Yeah. You can ask your subscriber to whitelist your email. Maybe add
Yes.
your email ID in the contact list so that your email will never go into the spam folder. Okay. Again, Akula is asking what email automation tool you used.
I said that I use MailChimp. I've been using MailChimp for a very long time, but trust me, there are many more tools to use and they're cheaper than MailChimp.
Yeah.
So it's up to you guys. I mean, I've been with MailChip, I think, goodness knows, God knows how many years. And I know some of the guys in the, when I open a ticket, I get, Anumitra.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm using MailerLite and also I've used GetResponse. Both are
Yeah,
good.
both are good. Aweber is good. GetResponse is good.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, now what is this question? Sir, I
There
have
is
seen
somebody who
many.
says sentence moves horizontally in StreamYard. That's not StreamYard, kiddo. That's a PPT. That's the trouble I take to create my PPTs that are engaging. StreamYard will just display my screen, nothing else.
Yeah, horizontal. Okay, I thought this horizontal we are giving this
अच्छा
notification.
नीचे वाला जी ठीक है. That is StreamYard. That is StreamYard. That is StreamYard.
Yeah.
Then Grammarly is a great tool. I agree. Some types of subject lines and sales pitches. You can't do that in a 30-minute live. But I promise you one thing: if you write to Anamitra, I'm more than willing to do a 1 hour webinar or a 1.5 hour webinar. 1 hour webinar where I pitch subject lines, I pitch call to actions and things like that. And the 30 minutes I'll keep open to question answers. But ask Anamitra, it is his Facebook group. So, we've got to contain that. But please, if you want depth, ask. Now, there's somebody who said, should we tell about us in brief or directly start with the story? Want your take on this? I have a principle. It says, sir, can you give an example of how to write an introductory email to a cold prospect? I have a rule. I also get cold prospects. The times that I'm writing cold emails, believe me, one of the rules that I have is very, very rarely 1% in 100 will I write anything about myself. I don't start with a story and I never talk about myself. I am an ISO 9000 registered company. I've got ISO 9001 certification. I'm an MTech from Manchester. I've got an MBA. No. Nobody wants to read about the email sender. Everybody wants to read about how you are going to help their wants, needs, and pain. So what I do is I talk about their wants, needs, and pain using a framework that I call PASTER. I've done this in other workshops. For those of you who attended the free workshops, I've done PASTER quite often. For those who were part of my mastermind, I've done PASTER, I've done StoryBrand. Look for frameworks, content creation frameworks. PASTOR is it's an acronym. So look for them, you'll get them. And I create my email content based on the PASTER framework. So I open up by talking about someone's pain and saying, I have something that can help you. I've got, let's say, a 14-day free trial. Come on and give it a shot. No questions asked. I don't need credit card details. Then come and give it a shot. If it answers your email, answers your pain, buy it. Or I'll say something like, come on and give it a shot. If you find that it's not working exactly like you want it, it's not responding to your pain, here's my Skype address. Connect with me on Skype and talk to me, or connect with me on Zoom and talk to me. If I can figure out how to make my product better, I will give you a copy absolutely free. And I encourage engagement. So I never start by telling anybody about us, briefly or otherwise. I never talk about myself, and I don't tell a story unless the story is about how I can help them or how my product helps them. That's the answer to that question.
This is the next question I'm talking
How
about.
you pay PPT screen closing and opening at the end. For a small fee, I'll teach that to you free. It's built into PPT. Thoda mehnat karo ya, thoda mehnat karo na, kelo. Otherwise, come on a one-on-one with me. Whoever that guy is, I don't know your names don't come up. So get in touch with Anamitra. There you go. I can say, and I'll show you how to do it. I'll teach it to you absolutely free. Yeah, the hell, no big deal. But we have to. I can't do it in a live.
Okay. Another the message I'm popping.
Yeah, I have seen many. I've seen many emails which are particular foreign copywriters. They always promote any webinar course from their fellow copywriters to an email sequence. They believe will add value to Rakada. This gone a long way in building trust. Well, the webinar, promoting the webinar doesn't build trust. It doesn't build trust at all. When people come into your webinar, and when you see people face to face in front of you, like you are doing with me now, you can see my face, you can see my expressions, you know if I'm a little stressed, you know if I'm happy or whatever. That is when you listen to my sentences, you hear the confidence in my voice. That is the time trust builds. So the promotion of the webinar, sending out saying, please register for my webinar, that doesn't build trust. The little paragraph underneath that, or before that says, in my webinar, I'm going to add so much of value to you. That helps in building trust. But that is only the written word. Now, one of those ending sentences will be, if we meet face to face and you talk to me, we will be able to engage and I will be able to reduce your resistance and you and I will become more friendly. And I also say, I never sell in my webinar. And that's the truth. I will conduct a webinar. I will give a great deal of value. Later on, I'll start an email sequence. Because let's admit it, we are all in this business to make money. We are not doing this for charity. And we are not doing this because we are philanthropic. We are doing this to make money. But let us be gentle. Let us be kind. Let's give value, a lot of value first. And then ask for something in return. This is what I learned from my mentors. And that worked. Next question.
Next question from...
As I have been targeting audience like health conscious, gym lover, weight loss. Yeah, the template is independent of product or service. Independent. I've written that template because I write email sequences for myself for different products or services. And I also write email sequences for customers which pay me money. They pay me a hell of a lot more money than I don't pay myself at all. So only time I get little money coming in my bank account from which I can get dal roti is when I write for customers. So the workbook, the Microsoft Word workbook is independent. So you should be able, if you have a specific problem, by all means get in touch with Anamitra and connect with me. I mean, come up and say that, yeah. We'll try and sort it out for you. Why not? Have email open rates dropped versus 1 year ago? How do we nurture? Yes, they've dropped. They've dropped. Now let me tell you, there are two kinds. There are two kinds of reasons why emails drop. One, which I like, I'm totally happy with it. The market is maturing. They're no longer going to take bullshit from you. Now, what does that force marketers to do? It forces marketers to become better. I joined a course called Conversational Copywriting, conducted by a Canadian guy called Nick Osborne, USBORNE, Nick Osborne. He's a Frenchman. And I did that about a year ago. My God, I thought my English was good. I've been writing copy for a very long time. And I thought I was good. I have a mentor like Unni. I have other mentors like Hansel, all of us believe we are good. But by God, I was shocked at what Nick was telling me and how his sentences resonated with me. And I learned to rewrite my sentences, conversation. So, one of the reasons why there are opens that are dropping is because market is maturing. You get better, you write better subject lines, your opening paragraph offers a ton of value, your emails will get open. I'm telling you, I'm not bullshitting. I've got emails from people that said, Ivan, you haven't written to me for the last 2 months. What has happened to your emails? I'm waiting for something new to come to you. I'm waiting for something of value. I'm waiting for a new case study. Why the hell are you not sending me emails? Now, if you can get even 2 or 3 emails from a 1,000 mailing list that tells you, Ivan, we are waiting for your emails, you are maturing. Now, there are some people that don't open because they are no longer interested in your product or service. They won't open your emails. There's nothing you can do about that. But email sequence, content sequencing is not a one-time learn and a one-time fits all. It's a constant evolution process. In June 23rd, 2 months, this is April, May, June, 2 months away, I will become 69 years old. I learn even today. I spend time looking at Joanna Vibe. I spend time looking at copy hackers. I spend time looking at Henike. I'm regular with Nick Osborne. Unless you learn, unless you change, unless you improve your English, you're going nowhere. If you believe that what you learned once, that doesn't work. In 2020, it doesn't work. And that's the reason why the email rates have dropped. My opinion, huh? Just my opinion.
Yes, yes, Vinod has written that, yes, true, I mail Henike that how to be a good copywriter, and she sent me a bundle of blogs for reading and said, for any query, feel free. So,
She's absolutely right.
yeah,
That's how I learned from Henike.
yeah. In the last FB, we spoke about Henike and all this.
Yeah, she sent you blogs. Read those blogs. If you're puzzled, put comments. Go there and say, look, I don't understand the sentence. Who the hell you think you're writing to? I also know English. Start a fight, you'll get reply. I mean, be gentle. I mean, don't get rough. Now, people like Henike, Joanna Vibe, Nick Osborne, we know each other so long. Unni, Hansel, we fight. I mean, they're private arguments, but we argue. I'll say, what the hell are you doing? He'll say, what the hell, Ivan? All that shit happens. But it's taken years to get that level of comfort. We are not going to harm one another. But believe me, if you ask an intelligent question, you will get an intelligent answer.
Okay. Now, this is a question. This is from the Abdul. I've seen people start email flooding through the Gmail account and they rarely get the response. What are the fundamentals
Why
of
will
that?
people get responsive? We just send emails, yeah. I listen to what I said earlier on. Take your email list, segment your email list, get your testimonials fitting the particular segment. Let that testimony, if you're speaking about pain, wants, and needs to a 28-year-old, get your video testimonial from a 28-year-old. If you're speaking about wants, needs, and pain to a 48-year-old, get your testimonial from a 48-year-old. If you're speaking to a female, get it from a female. You have to use minutes. If you just flood shit out, you will get shit back in return. Yeah, you're not going to get money back. Nobody will pay you for crap in 2020. Just look at my mail. I tell you, I get about, I'm not kidding, at least 1,500 emails a day, out of which 60 to 80 emails are of worth to me. The rest are all bloody spam. I've been on the internet for nearly 30 years. If you go to Whosis and check Ivan at ivanberos.com, Whosis will tell you that URL has been registered 30 years ago. Ivan at ivanberos.com is and I've got known by that because I've published books. I've got about 60, 70 books on Amazon and things like that. People know me as Ivan at ivanberos.com. So spammers have also picked up that shit. You know, I get So I just don't respond. I write rules in Thunderbird and they go straight to my spam folder. And I've configured Thunderbird, which is my mail client. When I close Thunderbird, all the spam gets deleted. Correct. So if you flood, you will get nothing.
Yeah. So
The fundamentals of targeting an audience. Show me your audience. You tell me your audience demographics crystal clear. I have seen too many Indian copywriters tell me my audience demographics are everyone between 28 and 35. That is a load of horse manure. That is not demographics. Demographics will have age, academics, work experience, married, unmarried, rank, position, disposable income, browser they use. That's demographics. Then I can tell you the fundamentals of targeting them.
great.
Others I'm giving bhashan. And what's the use of bhashan? I mean, no use at all.
So I think we are done with all the questions. So guys, I hope you like the session, and if you want these freebies, just send me a message on the messenger and I will give it to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ivan sir, for this wonderful session. And guys, please share this FB Live again and again.
Anamitra, I'm very grateful to you for giving me the platform to come and talk to people. I love sharing what I have. And like I said earlier, I'm willing to share much, much more than this. I thank everyone who's come and joined the Facebook group. Be safe wherever you are. Stay healthy and continue to be kind to one another. Bye now. See you guys.
Thank you. And if you have any further question, just post into the group. Just post into the group and we will answer that. Thank you.